At today's East African Community Financial Year 2024-2025 post-budget in Kampala, the first Deputy Prime Minister Rebecca Kadaga challenged the Minister of Finance to carefully listen to taxpayers' grievances to prevent situations similar to those in Kenya.
I want to really implore the Ministry of Finance especially to listen when stakeholders are expressing their views about the tax measures, about the impact on tax, about the impact on the population. Many times, I think they are more driven by the need to collect money, but they don't care about the implications of how they go to get that money. And they really haggle and insist on this tax must be there. Why? Tax beer, tax something else. But they want money because of the number of children who will use diapers, because of the number of women who are going to buy menstrual pads. Tax the women.
Kadaga emphasized that while taxes are crucial for socio-economic development, they must be fair, efficient, and conducive to economic development by ensuring equitable distribution of the tax burden. She cited the recent traders' sit-down strike against the e-freeze tax system as an example.
It helps us to fund essential services, invest in infrastructure, promote social welfare. However, it is imperative that tax policies are equitable, efficient, and conducive to economic growth. We must have created a tax environment that encourages investment, supports business development, and ensures that the burden is fairly distributed among all segments of society. I think the recent sit-down strike by the traders is a clear indication that the tax burden is falling particularly on particular sections and not on others.
Former Minister of State for Mineral Development, Sarah Chengo Pendi, highlighted pervasive corruption in the country and called for thorough investigations and prosecutions of implicated individuals. She criticized the tacit endorsement of corruption by key government officials.
In the fight against corruption, we should really have standards across board. It should not matter for anybody, especially those agencies like the Inspectorate of Government, to follow up cows and leave permanent secretaries who run actually bigger budgets, run for a headmaster in a school, and those other small officers, and then they leave, maybe the accounting officers of other institutions, including Parliament. So I hope the Inspectorate of Government will pick a lesson from what happened in Kenya.
Herbert Kafero, Programs and Communications Manager at Siatini, Uganda, urged the government to increase consultation time on tax bills to enhance stakeholder ownership of tax policies.
If we undertake adequate consultations around the tax bills, it means all stakeholders will own up the tax bills and the measures, and they will contribute to domestic resource mobilization. But the reason that some of the segments of the population are giving is that they were not party to some of these measures. They were not consulted. And as Siatini, we call for fair, equitable revenue mobilization, because it's important for us to, as we broaden the tax base, to do it equitably so that we can tap into the untapped revenue sources.
Representing the Commissioner General of Uganda Revenue Authority was Ms. Catherine Chokunda, Commissioner of Legal Services and Border Affairs.
Reflects our shared values and aspirations. It is a promise to our citizens, a promise of progress, prosperity, and a better future for generations to come. Let us therefore embrace the opportunities presented by this budget with optimism and determination.
We are not borrowing for projects that are not ready, that have no pre-feasibility studies, that have no feasibility studies. So when you are looking at new borrowing, before we borrow, the projects must be ready, and we go forward.
The dialogue aimed to review physical measures passed by the East African Council of Ministers for Financial Year 2024-2025, enhance public awareness, and foster effective engagement on tax, debt, trade, and related issues in the East African region. Herbert Kafero elaborated efforts to engage key stakeholders in the prudent management of public resources.
This dialogue is very important because we are raising awareness among stakeholders on critical issues, including fiscal measures adopted by the ESC Council of Ministers, trade, investment, among other issues that are important for us as a country.
John Baptista Humza, Church of Uganda, Family TV News at 8.